Hello there, welcome back to the channel and another explanation of a fascinating Starfleet vessel of the very distant future, a 32nd century starship this time, the USS Nog. So to get it out of the way, the USS Nog was of course named after Nog, the first Ferengi to ever join Starfleet. Now his journey from petty thief to highly respected and decorated Starfleet officer was a long and a painful one, but a journey that we went on with him, and by the end of it, this lovable little rogue turned into one of the men that would save the Alpha Quadrant from the Dominion. A hero's journey if we've ever seen one in Star Trek, and an underrated journey, I think, quite often. His friendship with Jake Sisko was one of the most endearing and interesting and different relationships we ever saw. Jake Sisko's influence on Nog to sort of break him out of that bubble of Ferengi culture, particularly the treatment of women and those things which were not inherent to Nog. Much like his father, he did not see women as inferior. His attempt to fit in with Ferengi culture and treat them that way often made him uncomfortable and dislike himself. And he learned through his friendship with Jake that he could do better. He could be more. And the Ferengi, we learned through him, could be more. That the potential for their civilization, and I'm not saying that there was anything necessarily blanket across the board wrong with the Ferengi, but there were many things that were questionable. And through Nog, we saw that that could change, that they could be better. We know that eventually they become members of the Federation. And there are many more Ferengi, even as far forward as the 32nd century, that are still becoming Starfleet officers, showing that again, civilizations can change and grow and make more of themselves. Now, of course, the USS Nog was named after Nog and is an Eisenberg-class starship. We don't know exactly in universe, of course, who the Eisenberg class is named after. It's clearly a person, less likely a place. But out of universe, of course, it was named after the actor who played Nog and K, for that matter, in Star Trek Deep Space Nine and Star Trek Voyager, and that would be Aron Eisenberg, who we sadly lost in 2019. And this ship was created as a ship and a class that we would see on screen to tell us that we remember him, that his contributions to the Trek fandom and to all of us was very meaningful. When he died, many of the fans in Star Trek Online paid tribute to him by visiting Quark's bar and holding vigils for him. And quite frankly, that tells me a lot about the Star Trek community, and it's something I absolutely love about this fandom. But back to in-universe, what do we know about the USS Nog? Actually very little, to be honest. But I wanted to cover it because I was in the mood. And the USS Nog, of course, again, to reiterate, is an Eisenberg-class starship. Seemingly a vessel of exploration, it's a very 32nd century looking ship. It has a generally teardrop-style hull configuration with, again, the detached nacelles. We can assume very advanced transporters and other technologies. We can presume it has energy weapons of some kind, which we can again infer from 32nd century level technology are very advanced, considering we already saw in the 25th century Starfleet having energy weapons that can leave a residual energy trace on a starship, allowing for instant lock-on as well as tracking of that target if it manages to get away. Now, if they had that, then imagine what they've got in the 32nd century. We do not have any idea what the ship's full capabilities are, or exactly even how big it is. I'm not going to use Star Trek Online stats, just to be clear. Again, the detached nacelles, love them, hate them, it's got them. It does give it a very distinctive look. Kind of looks, when you're looking at it from the front, in my opinion, like a plucked bird flapping its wings, but I'm not saying it's the most beautiful ship, but then again, the Ferengi are not the most beautiful race. Sorry again. But it is still a gorgeous functional vessel. As we know, in space, aerodynamics do not matter. The vessel was extremely fast, high warp capable, and again, based on design, it was not a combat ship because it was a bit too bulky and sort of chunky looking and had too many vulnerable points, in my opinion. But it was definitely, being a Starfleet ship of that era, combat capable, because we do know that Starfleet ships around this era were often putting up with a lot of violence. so it was more than likely capable of looking after itself, but I am making suppositions there. The only other time we encounter the ship is when it was helping with the evacuation of Earth, when it was thought that Earth was going to be destroyed by the 10C. And it was basically reaching capacity and was almost lost at that evacuation. Thankfully, the ship was not destroyed and went on to continue its career and service with Starfleet. We know virtually nothing else about it. Commissioning date, again, maximum warp speed. Again, purely based on 32nd century levels of technology. It had incredibly advanced transporters, very advanced engines, very, very advanced weapons and shields, and quite frankly, 24th, 25th century weapons and shields are already mind-bogglingly advanced. Likely replicators, likely holodecks, all the things we would expect it to have. Hopefully, though, as there is a new upcoming series, Starfleet Academy, which I am sure you've all heard about by now, and we do know confirmed that the EMH Doctor Mark 1 from the USS Voyager will be in this show. Reprising the role is, of course, Robert Picardo. Now, we don't know what the hero ship of that show is going to be, but I would be shocked if we didn't see the USS Nog turn up, or at the very least another Eisenberg class, but I bet they would use the Nog, and maybe in that show we'll get a bit more of a fleshed out look at this starship, and I'll have to update this video, and I really would love to do that because I actually really like this ship. I have done a video on the Eisenberg class before a few years ago, and this channel being a few years old now, I am going to get the odd overlap. This isn't a broad overview of the Eisenberg class in and of itself, just of the USS Nog and her career so far, and I really hope, again, they bring it back in Star Trek Academy and we get to meet its crew, meet its captain, and find out some more of its adventures. I doubt it'll be the hero ship, which apparently there is going to be a hero ship in this show, but like the Defiant was the hero ship of DS9, even though it wasn't the main premise of the show. But hopefully it does make an appearance, maybe even in the long-awaited and never seen Star Trek Legacy, which was just never made, is it? But let me know what you guys think of this ship in the comment section down below, and would you like to see it make an appearance or not? You think it's just an ugly duckling of a starship and you don't want to see anything of it ever again and it can just die? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you made it over to the end of the video, I thank you for watching, and bye-bye.